待ってね。配信開始。開始。始まったかな？始まったかな？ This on? Weekly challenge number, I have it 8 here. Oh, I also forgot to rank everything. Forgetting everything. Weekly challenge number 9. The topic was fictional creature dragon.
Daryl, my boy.
Hi, how many people do I have now? I have 8. I have 8 people watching real time. Okay. Ohayo. I'm just gonna go from the start. I forgot to rank them again, but I'll put the ranking on later and post it on the Discord server. Number 1, Go Nuts. Go Nuts. This one looks like a book cover for a children's book. It's done really neat and well. But there are a couple of points I want to point out, and I forgot what I did here. There. Okay. The figure character here looks like the arm is like really big. The arm is really big. It looks like it could almost touch the floor. So maybe the legs are short, or maybe it's like a gorilla character. So maybe legs are short, maybe. I want more light to reflect around things. The highlight here on the stone are only in lines. Some parts might be more not lines but area, so that there's more 3D effect like this. This part is hiding the tail and the body, like the connection with the tail and the body. So it I think you're losing a lot of important information on how the tail is connected to the body. That would create like a 3D feeling, since the tail is coming this way and the body is all the way in the back. The horn here is not in symmetry. Now, that could be a design. It could be a design, but if it's not intentional, which a lot of people, it's a common mistake a lot of people make when things are in an angle, but the design is not in symmetry. Haircut, right? I got this haircut like a month ago. The body looks flat. It's like at a 90-degree angle, like exact 90-degree angle. It looks like it looks flat. Yeah, I don't know how else to say it. The moon right here stands out too much. So if you want to have a moon, make it more stand out, or just don't have it at all. Like, it's okay to have clouds, but because clouds don't stand out that much, but a moon stands out really. It's symbolic. So if you want the moon there, you have to make it more important. And this one, it looks like it's just there for the sake of it.
For them dragon arms. Dragon has been hitting the waist arrow.
Dragon has been hitting the way. Dragon arm? Okay. Yeah. Well, the dragon arms and the legs and the whole thing looks a little flat. So what I did was I made the lights hit from this place upward, and then I made it the wings. I made this part of the wing darker so that it would make it more come to the front, more front than the character. So the light would be hitting inside the wings.
Input.
The moon is more important here. Doesn't look like it just. If this one, it looks like it's just there for the sake of it. But or maybe this book says maybe the drawing didn't have a moon at first, and then the author of the book said, by the way, the moon is a very important aspect of the book, so can you add a moon? So it just added a moon without any like thinking about it. That's what it looks like. So if you knew that the moon was a little bit more important in the first place, you could have had it more bigger and more good in balance. How much lighting impacts? Yes, this right. So since this fire is not the only light source, but like a major light source, it would be better if it's more. If the reflection of the lights are calculated according to this light. I have the connection between the tail and the body more. It shows the bodies so that you could kind of tell where the bodies are. This like things like these parts. That part is dark because the light would hit the leg, and then this would make a shadow of the leg and the body. Now, the same thing here. This part is the shadow of the shoulder. Since the fire is like really down, and then the light is coming from down to up. So the shadow would make the shoulder will make a shadow in the wings and the neck. That's about it, I guess. The rocks, it could be before there was only lines, but if you have more, not only lines, some areas there's more 3D effect in the rock. Maybe a little bit more lighter in the stone streets. Do you consider how the light kind of reduces intensity in the sphere? In this case, as the torch sound is kind of like a hail. How the light kind of reduces intensity in the sphere. You mean how far it is? If it's far, it would lose intensity. But I don't know if you would express that kind of thing as a sphere or a halo. You mean halo like in like a sunlight? I need to. I might need to check that out. Like Google that later on. Okay, number 2 or 17 points. The last one, the Go-Go Nuts had 18 points. 17 points, Illuminatus. Oh, I think I have the one I changed first. Now, that's what he had first. Illuminatus, the dragon is really good drawn. But everything else is kind of... I think the biggest problem with this drawing is that everything is blurred, kind of. I mean, the rocky surface of the mountain is blurred, the smoke or the fog is blurred, the fire is blurred, so it looks like you really don't have much, it looks like you don't have enough, have enough, confidence, right? You don't want like something concrete in there, so you want everything blurred because you're not maybe darker, maybe lighter, I'm not sure, maybe if you're not confident, everything gets blurred. So you want to make the fire, the rocks, and maybe the dragon, the silhouette there could be a little bit more visible. So that's what I did. I made the tail visible. I made the fire shape more visible. Some part where the light reflects from these rocky parts are more visible, and if there's like a staircase or something around here, it could be more concrete and visible too. I could have done better with the people burning here, but that would pretty much take it. I guess it would take too much time to do them accurately. But I hope you get what I'm trying to say here. What I have here is I have fire reflect the light reflecting to the wings, but this part is a little bit dark because the smoke. Because of the smoke, you have the shadow of the smoke on the wings. Well, that's something I just did because I thought it would be kind of cool.
Brazil loves you.
Brazil loves me, thank you. Yeah, so that guy would probably have some sort of light source reflected from him, like that, and so on. Okay, same point, 17 points. Liana, this is drawn really good, but if you show this to your grandma and ask her what do you think she drew, it's either a wolf fighting a snake. It doesn't really. I mean, it's okay to call this a dragon if you have like a full series of your own manga and you could see other how this creature moves or
When looking at drawings like
and
this,
things like
you
that.
usually recognize most of its words. I do not
It's
really
okay if you have your own. This is not the only like creative dragon I had here. There's other creative dragons, and I can't really rate how creative you went with your design in this weekly art challenge because the creativity in your design is like say this was like a restaurant, right? And I was gonna rate how what I'm doing. What I'm rating is how the dish is made. Maybe I could point out that maybe you overcooked something. It's like you overcooked something and it's black or something, or maybe you used something not like a not fresh vegetable or something. That's something I could rate. I can't really rate how spicy it is. Some people might like spicy things, some people might hate spicy things. So I can't rate on if that is a good thing or not. So that's the kind of the same thing with original designs. I can't really rate these original designs because it's hard to make a objective rating. But I'm not telling you to not do it. It's good if it motivates you. I just sticking to the topic would be a better one. It would be like a more traditional dragon design. Anyways, so I had to take points off for being off a little bit topic. There was little context because there was this small guy. I don't know what that is. It's some small guy with a wand. Can't really tell if the dragon's protecting him or hiding, or can't really say. So what I could have what I did here was maybe emphasize the lights. This is just a suggestion what you could do. Emphasize the lights like that. I made this part a little bit darker so that it's more to the front because the tails are lighter that are in the further parts. So maybe the face could be a little bit darker so it's more front, and then have the lights a little bit more emphasized. Wait, where's the... Oh, there it is. Now you could tell that Liana made the green light reflecting here, which has... You could tell that it went through the shape there. So the green, you don't have green light there because the nails and the whiskers
Splash rate.
are preventing it. You mean like subjective opinions are difficult to judge, right? Subjective opinion. Original designs are subjective aspects, which I can't really put a score to. Other than that, it's rather possible. Ultimately, I don't think you could really judge an art, but some parts, some aspects are possible, some aspects are hard. Point 16 Prime. Now this would be a rather traditional dragon design. The problem is you can't really see the whole dragon. I mean, you don't have to see the whole dragon. It's just I'm not really sure if the artist wants people to see the whole dragon or not. Because, okay, what is that supposed to be like a treasure thing? Dragons on like a treasure, like a lots of jewelry, or is that like some purple slime thing? Not really sure. Well, the main thing is this character fighting the dragon here. So, but the leg I feel is a little short. I mean, he might be bending it, but it doesn't look like it's being bent. And the shape of the fire is a little bit too. Yeah, the shape of the fire is a little bit strange. So what I wanted was the shape of the fire be a little bit more in movement, like dynamic, and the character to be more like have good ratio of posture. Because this one looks like the upper body's part, this part like a little bit too big, and then a little bit too small there. maybe the pose is making you make it look like really weird, but it is a rather difficult pose to draw. The dragon's design, I mean, this part is done really good, actually. So I guess the fire could be a little bit more dynamic. That's about it. And this, make sure you make the viewer understand if this is a slime with, I don't know, like transparent guts or something, or is it a treasure? Okay. Same 16 points. Nam. Now every time Nam goes for a fantasy setting, he has his own original character now with this helmet and the cape. I mean, that's a good thing. I mean, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That's a good thing. There's several things I want to point out here. One is, I think the biggest, you're there. The biggest thing here, not the biggest thing, but one point I want to make sure is I would consider that adjacent lines. That's adjacent to the frame. It looks like you wanted the line to go there, but then there was the frame, so the frame kind of made this like a magnetic force to make it go the other way. That's what it looks like.
Criteria was if your grandma looked at IT and said IT was a dragon, then it's all good.
Wyverns and treasure dragons. Wyverns are I didn't take points off for drawing wyverns. Another point I want to point out is this happens a lot with other people drawing scales. You have the light coming from here, right? You have the light coming from here, and then you have a scale there. You have a scale there. You have a light coming from there, so you kind of make that part light, right? So there's another scale there, so you make the same part lighter, but a little bit not light, and you go on, and you go on, and keep doing it until it gets completely dark. That's what you did there, but you're doing this according to which part of the scale is being light, instead of the direction of the light. So you have the light parts there. Now this, if the light is coming from this side, right? If the light is coming from this side, that's not gonna be the lightest part. It's gonna be around there. But how do you switch from here, this side of the scale, to that side? So what you should have done it like this. This way you have the angle of the light consistent. I think I've seen something like this in other works too. I don't think I pointed it out, but it was really common, yeah. And this design is rather original, but I'm sure people can tell it's a dragon. You could say it's a dragon because you could see the wings. It could kind of look like a snake, has arms and stuff, and the head looks like a lizard. But the arms, it doesn't. And the wings, right here, it doesn't look like the arms could move around with the scales like this. If the scales are like, it's okay to have like big scales. I just want the scales to be more movable, because this I don't think you could lift your arms that much if you have this like big scale that doesn't look like it moves that much. So what I did here was I made the scales a little bit more movable-ish. If the character moves the shoulder up, the scales would go, each scale would move into the other scale. So you want more like, and also these parts, the scales size are the same, so you want smaller scales where you have
OMG, that scales.
you want smaller scales where you have where things move, where you have your, what do you call these joints. So other than that, it's okay to have big scales. For example, the snake part, I guess it's okay if you have bigger scales. Now, I'm gonna point this out here, but this was like at least half of what I saw in this challenge had the same problem. You guys are not thinking in cylinders, right? So the line you see here is all straight like that. That is not a cylinder. So what I want you to do is go grab your toilet paper thing here and draw these marks. That's a little bit too light there. And if you look at like that, right, you could see how much curvature you need with cylinders. I mean, a lot of the cylinders were like, the shape was like this, the angle of the cylinder was like that, but the lines were like that. You only had like a little bit of curvature. So what I want you to do is make something like this and try to check if you got your cylinders correctly.
This is art class.
Yeah, I also have the cliff here, not too adjacent to the frame, because being adjacent to the frame is, it looks weird. The the canyon here, it looks like, I don't know, the canyon here looks like there was a flat surface and then somebody just put some clay down there, make it look like a canyon. But actual canyons or cliffs or whatever are not that, have more, either have a little bit more curve or something that looks more natural. I also wanted something, since these are two monsters fighting, it would have been better if there was some, you could tell that this fight was been going along for at least, say, 3 minutes. So maybe some blood or something somewhere, maybe some broken rocks, or since the Cyclops is losing a leg, maybe some leg somewhere. I don't know. Maybe the dragon's holding leg. It looks like it doesn't look like this fight was going on for like a couple of minutes or maybe an hour. So it doesn't look like that. It looks like two actors in suits just lay there and they just want to take a photo that looks like this. So if you had more either bruises or broken something, you could tell a story of how the battle was going on. You could have had more context points. So next, same 16 points, Orpheus. Orpheus, this is, I assume this is read from left to right. You have a baby, and then the baby gets, I think it gets lifted up. You can't really tell if it's lifted up or not. And there was a dragon. So I assume that this baby was about to go down the cliff, right? And the dragon saved the baby from dropping down. Now you could tell that because there's a cliff here. That's a little bit hard to tell. I'm sure a lot of people didn't notice that or realize the context there, that the dragon was saving the baby from falling down the cliff. So I think you need at least the cliff there or something to make it understand that it was something dangerous that the baby was trying to do. Another thing is is that connected like way up high, or I mean, are those like way up high? Are they like that long? Are they that long? Or maybe like that long? I can't really tell. So what you could have done was, oh, and by the way, you have the same cylinder thing here too. You have the cylinder thing here. If this was a cylinder, right, that scale would be like that. But you didn't do it because you have the arm there, right? Same thing with the frame that Nam did with the cliff. You have the arm there, so you don't want to go past that arm. That would make it a little bit too complicated. So you just kind of went around. So there's like a sweet spot, right? If you have a line going from here downwards, you want to go where you don't have any conflict. So you went to the only sweet spot that was there, which you had no like you didn't think of any cylinders at this point. So if you're gonna think cylinder, it would go that way. you know, cylinder, 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 cylinder. Same thing with the scales here too. It looks like the scales are not missing at the joints because it's hard. It was hard to make the scales within the joints. Now, if what you could have done was make the scales go on top of each other when they move, like this. You also want
The way you draw scales is very satisfying.
right. You also want the tail like that going into there, in connecting to the body instead of this, because this can't really tell if it's connecting to the body or not. You also want to make a shadow of the below the baby so that you could tell that the baby is being lifted up, and you could maybe see the cliff there, and maybe have some small rocks going down so that the reader could think that maybe that rock could have been the baby. By the way, your coloring on this one isn't as bad as the one you've done before. The green is a little bit too green, but it's okay since it has more like a. You could say that this has more like a like a My Little Pony kind of feeling to it. So having these vivid colors, the colors match the style you're going with in this one particularly. Okay, yachts bro. Wait, Yatsu bro? Is it Yatsu? I think it's Yatsu bro. Yatsu bro. Now, I hope you make one of these. Okay? I hope you make one of these. Now, what you're doing here with the scales is the same thing you did with the bricks on your bicycle drawings. You just, not all of them, but some of them looks like they are copy and pasted. I saw your time lapse thing. In your time lapse thing, the dragon, it looked like you were considering it to be in cylinders, but in the mid area. But then you just threw it all away or something, because it doesn't look like it's going after cylinders at all. So what could have been done was, and also the hairs of the dragon don't have the lines. I'm not saying that don't have things that don't have lines when you have. It's just having two art styles in one art is really hard to do. So I'd say you not do that till you have it at least master line art. So it would have been better if the hairs had lines instead of just color. So what you could have done, I don't know, the scale thing, I'm not really sure how good the scale thing is working, but okay, this is the most easy to understand where you're not understanding cylinders. The line you have here compared to this, so if you have a cylinder, I hope that's understandable. Another thing is you have these wooden wooden floors, right? And then these parts, it looks like the wooden floors are wider as you go to the side. So what I should have done was make it, I mean, if the length of these wooden floors were the same, it would look more, it would, the same thing with things farther away look small, it would look more thinner as it goes away. If you were to draw a straight line and like exactly make them, if you like exactly make them into like exact same length, the farther you go away, the slantish it would be. It would look like that. So I hope you understand how this happens. Hello, how are you? Is this week kind of tough? Is this week kind of tough? The biggest reason that my review stream is a little bit late is mostly because of my schedule, not because of the topic or anything. Although there were a lot of posts this week compared to say last week or the week before. Mr. H. Also the same 16 points. This is well drawn. It's well drawn. It's just there's not much context to it. That's just so it would have been better if you say someone was you could tell that someone was trying to fight this person or something. Although this was really well drawn, I have a problem with the wings. The wings look like they look like sticks with bed sheets or something strapped around them. It doesn't look like something of a living thing. Ooh, I got my hiccups. And also, there's 3 points. There's 3 points. Right, they look like flags. There's 3 points. The farthest part of these. There's 3 points that are like really far. These wings, and they all are like right at the frame. Right, so I would call these adjacent lines. Also, not adjacent lines, but adjacent area maybe. Right, so you either it would have been better if you just went off the frame or maybe made one of them not too much near the frame. So what I did here was made the wings a little bit more something that looks alive. It could have been bigger. It could have been bigger. It could have been more bigger and off the frame like that. It could have been like that.
I would love to watch the whole WAC, but I have to sleep now. I am thankful for you reviewing my art piece and recognizing my original character.
Okay, sweet dreams. Also, the hand here. It's not a good idea to get the hand a little bit hidden with the shadow. I'd say this is out of frame also, not out of frame, but out of shadow, I guess. So I made the hand more visible, even with the shadow, like this black stuff, because the hand is a very important aspect of this character, this creature. Other than that, I mean, the scales and the face of the dragon, all these are really good drawn. Next, my Soka. This one is well drawn also, but still the cylinder to me is a little bit off. The cylinder's off. It's a little bit too dark. So what you
Look at my
I have two suggestions here. One is for the light. The light could have been more like it this way. It's not too dark, but you could still tell that these characters are in the dark, and you could see the only light source. Dragon Knight. I feel I am washed. Design Yu-Gi-Oh! The last one with Mr. H.
Nice lighting.
Right, this is what you could have done with the lighting. Now the other. Since the what you did here with the scales and how the dragon's neck is moved, you really.
Yay, that was what I was going for, but IT was T minus 4 minutes from the deadline. Eeg.
4 minutes
No
deadline.
references for
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, things like that happen. Yeah, and the line. If you could find out where the center line is for the dragon, and then have the center line folded like this. I don't know if this is easy to understand, but if you're gonna fold a cylinder like this, you're gonna have a center line, not to the side, but a little bit to the facing the camera a little bit.
I get IT.
You get it? Okay. I mean, it's not always gonna be like that, but it would give it would be more convincing.
Follow the 3D form of the neck.
Right, it would be more convincing of the 3D-ness if you do something like this. Okay, next, 15 points for hi, I don't know what username. Now this one is a little bit. I like the concept where a fire dragon and an ice dragon, I think, are shooting their thing at each other. It looks like some form of mating or something. So that's something I thought was really interesting. They are two different types of dragon. One is like a traditional black dragon.
Flirting.
The other kind of looks like an owl. Flirting, right? Personally, do you like to draw dragon? Do I personally like to draw? I guess so. I drew dragons a lot when I was a kid. Courting, companionship is the word. Companionship. Okay. Companionship. Did I say mating? Well, anyway. Yeah, because mating need to. Never mind. The thing I want to point out here is there's no such thing as a dragon. Even though there's no such thing as a dragon, right? Or no one's seen any dragon or never did any autopsy of a dragon, but you still have to make the dragon look like it has. You still have to at least say. You have to research four-legged animals or bats or birds, and try to get something out of those actual animals to make your fictional creature convincing. So what I did was, I can't really say what I did here. I kind of had what birds are like and what four-legged animals are like into one. So, my understanding here is that.
I tried, but IT has problems.
Right. So there's a shoulder blade that goes like this, and then there's there's a bone there, and then another bone going like that. So there's two arm-like things growing out of the shoulder blade. And stuff like that. Yeah, I know you tried. I guess you tried. So that's one thing you could try a little bit more better. Also, you need to think in cylinders, especially when you have these lines there.
Keep imagine their movements are like cat.
What was that movie with the Hick? Was it Hick? Maybe they changed the title within different countries, but I think it was Hick the Dragon, not Hick the Dragon. There was this CGI anime that had this black dragon, and that dragon like a flat that had a flat face, black dragon with a flat face. That I think it didn't know how to fly at first or something. How to Train Your Dragon. I think that could be the Western title. That really looked like a cat, right? That looked like a cat.
Train Your Dragon.
13 points. Pharaoh-Rix. Is this your... Was your last post the car post? I think your last post was the car, the speeding car, if I remember correctly. If you... Well, anyway, this one kinda... It's kind of good. It's kind of good, but you could have done better. So what I did was made the anatomy of the dragon a little bit more convincing. And if you're gonna have like a face, if you're gonna have a face like a different face that showed, the reason you want these faces in a different frame is because you want to show their like emotional facial expressions. So it doesn't really if the size of them are mostly the same, you don't need it, because if the size are the same, you have the same expression where you have it there already. So if you want to show facial expression in detail, you have to make it more bigger like this. Now, maybe that's not the best part to put it, but I hope you understand what I'm trying to say here. The anatomy, I think the thighs were a little bit too down, even here too. I think you need it more upward. And things like that, but this, I just, although these are, fictional creatures, the facial expressions are what I wanted to point out the most here. Pearl. 13 points, Pearl. Now this is... this one actually looks like one of those dragons from the How to Train Your Dragon. The face is really cute. The face is cute, but everything other than that is really kind of... It looks like you're not convinced yourself about how this creature is, the structure of the creature. So what I did was make it a little bit more convincing. I mean, what you have here is maybe that's the knee, but then that's the knee also. So how's the wing is hiding too much of what could have been more. It's hiding too much what could have been more convincing if it was revealed. So I made the wings a little bit more or less hiding stuff, and the rest more feline-ish or like a four-legged animal. Also, saying riding rock and having these things like this would reduce points for completion. I mean, it would have been better if you just didn't have these. Because writing rock on a gray area would implement that you wanted to draw a rock, but you just got lazy. And sometimes people can take that the artist is convinced or why do I keep forgetting this vocabulary? Confident. Yeah, maybe the artist is confident enough that they didn't need to draw the rock into detail. But if you write rock there, you would lose that aspect. So I need to take points off for completion. 10 points. Leaf. I am afraid if I am able to show this on YouTube. If I'm allowed to show this on
I need to say the
YouTube.
dragon topic. The posts we got a bit higher than usual. LOL.
Right. So there's a girl inside a long snake monster. That, well, maybe, I don't know. It has like a turtle-like scale. Now the same thing here. You have to understand the cylinders. You have to understand cylinder. You have to understand scales. So what I did here was have the scale, turtle-like scales that go overlap each other, so that it doesn't look strange, even though it's like in a what do you call it? Swirl, right? And also the girl there should be a little bit more. The girl should be a little bit right. I mean, what you originally had, the eyes are too big and stuff, right?
Ow.
Okay, 8 points. Spec. Is that 8 points? Why? I don't know why I have it there.
Now I get at you when you said why you were not sure should IT be on YouTube.
I don't know why I have it there, but I have it there. I think it should be on a lower. Right. Oh wait, I could do that now. Sorry, I'm gonna put you down over there. Spec. Laker. Now this one actually was really fun to critique because it is something really complicated you were doing here. Okay, so buckle up. Okay, the fire here is adjacent to the thought bubble here. I mean, it looks like the fire is it's emitting enough fire so that it won't go away from the thought bubble, which is nonsense. So you either have to have the thought bubble make it more bigger so that it's not adjacent to the thought bubble.
According to Laker, IT was acid, not fire.
It was acid, not fire. It doesn't matter. I mean, it could be acid, it could be fire. Either way. The problem is it's adjacent to the thought bubble. Now, you have a character saying this, you have that, and then you have two other people thinking it. You don't need three people connecting to the thought bubble. You only that would be too much information. Unless like the only reason you might be doing this is if they have different understandings. If it's like this, right? And they overlap, but the three of them have different understanding a little bit.
Like fire from Disney's Sleeping Beauty.
Then it would make sense, but unless so, you pretty much only need one. Because it's like, say a character says hello, and the character listening to that character is thinking this guy said hello. That's too much information. You don't really need that. The character here has big head. The character here has small head. But then if you look at the perspective of the table and the paper, it's not that strong of a perspective. So what you have here is an unintended cubism. This board, the board of this TRPG that they're playing is out of frame. Now, usually it might be not that much of a problem, it's out of frame, but if this drawing, if this imagination is supposed to be reflected upon this board, then people would want to see how the board is, or what's on the board that these people are imagining this kind of dragon. So the board is really important, too important to be out of frame. Now, maybe the board was too big, right? Maybe it was too big to. If it was too big and it get out of frame, that's okay. But still, it looks like it's treated like it's not that important. The door here, the door here. If you connect the lines like this, right? If you connect the lines like this, it would connect the opposite way. So this is an opposite perspective. Things that are near the camera become smaller. That's what you call an opposite perspective. Whatever goes farther away would become bigger if this thing. Now, there's one good. I'm not gonna say just one good thing, but one good thing that I want to point out is the game master here has a dragon mark on his hat, so you could tell that the game master is controlling the dragon. That is one good thing. But there's 3 players in this imagination, right? Now, I understand that maybe the third guy is a non-player character. That could be a thing, but if there's 3 characters in the imagination, maybe have 3 players. Or maybe make them understand which character is who. Maybe have the colors, they have the same colors or something. So if this guy has wearing something red, maybe can make the character wear something red, maybe pink or red or something like that. Made it like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Make the ring pop up. That would be something really too different. So what I did was make it like this. Have 3 players. Make the board visible with the dragon figure and player figures. Only one symbol who's talking about the figure, the game, and then maybe make the dragon a little bit more. I don't know. I kind of played around with the dragon here. I'm sorry. So, but this was really fun to critique, so I hope you come up with something like this again. Craig, this one, 12 points. Craig, the best part about this drawing is the lightning. The lightning here looks really cool. I'm sure when you, I think this is done with either pencil and eraser or something, so you use the eraser, or maybe the lightning is done on digital, but you use either an eraser tool or an actual eraser and made the lightning here. I think the lightning made you most excited drawing this. Now, other than that, maybe whiteout. Doesn't look like a whiteout. The lines are too thin and accurate for a whiteout. Oh, they have whiteout line, whiteout pens now. So it could be a whiteout pen, but it doesn't really look like so. The thing here is a boat that has a dragon head is being attacked by an actual dragon. And since the drawing isn't as neat enough, it kind of takes time to understand that it was a dragon like a boat. I thought it was an octopus. I thought it was an octopus fighting a dragon because of the circles here. Right? And then I find out it was. So I see the head here. So okay, there's two dragons fighting. No,
IT has very good
that's a
detail art.
boat. So it took like 3 seconds to understand that it was a boat that had a dragon head. It would be better if that's more easy to understand. So what I did here was maybe make the dragon head of the boat a little bit more understandable that it's a man-made thing compared to the actual living dragon. So that's just one idea that I had. Yeah. Make it understandable that it's a boat. Also, don't forget your lightning if you do something similar again. Also, the dragon. I'm gonna repeat everything all the time. Think of the anatomy. Think in cylinders. And so on. 12 points. Farquad. You have multiple art styles that you have. I think the last one you did similar to this was one with the fantasy female swords fighter. Okay. The wing here looks like it could have gone that way, but since the frame was there, it moved itself. It had a gravitational pull inward because of the frame. That's why it is adjacent to the frame. What you could have done was make it like that, right? You could have made it like that so that it's in good balance. You don't have to think about the frame now, but there's inconsistency of completion. The artwork here looks like a simple artwork, but then there's a little bit too much detail in the dragon. So it's either go full detail or go full simplicity. Have I read Berserk? No. It has very good dragon art? I guess it does. So what you could have done was go more super simple, like that. This would have more. I would have given you more completion points for this, because the completion is consistent. It's in simple.
He used a trackpad for 1 hour straight.
Use a track for. Oh, he used a trackpad. Is like. Okay.
This is trackpad dude. Why?
Well, can't you get some other useful hardware? I
changes
mean,
everything.
Trackpad. Well, if you're gonna go pro and you have a customer and you're not gonna convince your customer, well, I did it with the trackpad. It does not change everything.
We should help him to paper and pencil.
Paper and pencil, right? I mean, you're not gonna convince your customer that you did it with the trackpad. You're not gonna. You're not gonna get satisfied with a pizza that was tried like cooked with a candle fire, right? This pizza it doesn't look like this pizza is fully cooked. I'm sorry. This I don't think this pizza is fully cooked. Oh well, I did that with a candle fire. Oh, okay. And it seems so speechless. Yeah. Go get some other hardware. I don't know. I mean, I was gonna say if you had 1 hour, maybe you could get part-time job and buy something better, but you can't really do that just 1 hour. Ikasumi here. Tried something. I understand that the person tried something, but it looks really weird. It looks really weird. You can't really tell if it's a dragon or not unless the topic is dragon. Because there's all these pink around here. There's all these pink here, right? But then you can't really tell what this is. You have to like look at it real close, maybe for like a minute or two, and realize that that's a wing. Hey, that's a wing there. What's this? Is that like a... What is that? What is that? Oh, wait, I think I see it. I think it's like a dragon? I think it's like a dragon. That's a stomach. That's the leg.
That looks like IT could be one big arm wrapping around the treasure.
One big arm wrapping around the treasure, right. It could be. So the reason it doesn't look like a dragon is the lack of information, even though it's using a lot of space. So if you could have more information like this, then you could see the legs, you could see the wings, you could see the face. It has an anime eye, which is not bad to have, and it's holding this golden thing. This one looks like it's like it. I don't know. It's holding some rubber ball. So it's not crashing. It's not. It looks like it's supposed to be crushed and broken to pieces. So maybe have it look like it's actually holding this like a sphere ball thing. Right, and maybe the tail. Maybe the tail would be better if it's. This is also an adjacent line. I mean, it goes there and then goes there. So, if it would have been better if it was just completely off the frame, or a little bit connected. I mean, just a little bit off the frame and then coming back like that is really it's really weird. Okay, next is 12 points for Rudiaz. It was actually 14, but came in late, so I took off 2 points. It's drawn well rather good, but it's not really a dragon. I don't think this was drawn for the challenge. I think the author, the artist, just happened to draw this before and posted it. Doesn't really look like a dragon. So, a couple of things I want to point out. If there's a vanishing point there, then why don't you make the speed lines going to the vanishing point? We call this a tail in Japan. Shippo means tail of an air bubble. The tail is adjacent to the character's line, so I don't like that. So what you could do is maybe make it like that. The air bubble is going behind the character, or maybe I don't know, maybe like that. Good afternoon, good morning, whichever is fine. Another thing, if this dragon is like, if you want to emphasize the dragon a lot, maybe you could have the dragon go out of the panel and, you know, make it more dynamic going out of the panel like that. Those are just some points, suggestions. Marcus, 11 points. Marcus, this.
You know what is meaning the name of Goemon?
Meaning of the name of Goemon? Just the name? I don't know if there's any Goemon. I don't know the meaning. I mean, there could be a meaning, but I don't think the meaning is that important. Marcus, the biggest thing I want to point out here is the line is too neat. I think you added this line with either Eclipse Studio, one of your graphics softwares. So the line, the lines, the speed, now what do you call this? Not the speed line, the emphasizing line is too neat compared to the line art. I would have, now if there's inconsistency in these completions, I would take points off. So you would have had more points if you just didn't even have these speed lines. That's not right. Now, that's one thing. Another thing is I can't tell if this is a drawing of a guy with a katana trying to fight a dragon, or the character is like releasing a dragon power that comes from the katana or the sword. Can't really tell which. It's either fighting a dragon or releasing a dragon. Can't tell which. So if you can't really tell which that means there's not enough information. So I took context points off for that also. So what you could have done was, oh, by the way, yeah, there were adjacent lines here also. I mean, crowded adjacent lines, and the whole thing was crowded. What you could have done was like this. Now, if it was releasing power from the sword, like a dragon power, you could have made the line. You could have made like a flash from the sword, and the flash with the same center line with the whole dragon. The aura of the dragon has a center line with the same flash with the sword and the dragon. I hope you could see what I did here. This way, maybe it looks more like the characters releasing power, like a power of the dragon from the sword. I also have some adjacent lines and things not too crowded. この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。はい。Next, Big Hat Walter. Big Hat Walter, 10 points. This looks like, if this was like in like more lower resolution, it would look like a game from an Apple II computer, which I thought was a little bit classic-y, and I didn't hate it. I kind of like it, but there's so many points I want to point out in this, but I just reduced it into some more essential points. It looks like the monster is like leaning sideways. It looks like it's going like that, or like that. It's fun to watch, yes, because where the legs are, and because of the perspective, mostly. So what you could do, you could draw a box, right? You could draw a box and make sure where the legs are, where the legs are standing, and then draw the center of the dragon there in simple shapes, and the wings too, and then maybe connect them. This is what you can do. I didn't go too crazy with the anatomy here. I try to make it in simple shapes as possible so that it'll be easier to understand. Maybe you don't need the box here. You might not need the box here, but at least you could use this for anything actually. I think there was a post about I think there was a post about trains in the Discord discussing channel, and what you could do was draw a surface of the train, and without drawing the chairs first, what you could do is just draw where the chairs are supposed to be, like that. Like drawing like a blueprint.
How old is Cyrano?
How old is Cyrano?
When did you post something? Like that.
I didn't post this. I didn't post this. There was someone posted something like this on Discord channel, and yeah, I didn't post this. So after you do this, then you could maybe draw the chairs or the windows. Or this is even better. This is even better. Oh.
Sheesh, not the result I expected, but I appreciate the tips. Thank you, Daro Sensei.
Not the result you expected. Okay. Not the result you expected. Okay. Well, maybe. Well, I guess that's something you have to do for yourself, right? Say, yeah, just completely from the top, drawing a box without perspective, and then copy these things. Oh, by the way, you have to do these in digital. You could copy like this. You could copy like that. Alright. So and then you could use your what do you call this tool in English? I'm not really sure. You could use these kind of tools, and then voila, you have something to work on. Wait, then the transform, right? Or I don't know, maybe you could work on it like from here.
You can do just like this.
Can you do? Yeah, like just like this. perspective warp kind of tool. Now some warps don't make them in like perspective, like accurate perspective. Because what happened is some tools make it look like, say if I don't want to do it like this, right? Say I want to make it like super perspective, like some tools would make it look like that, not in perspective. This one would have things.
Have you seen Shinjiki no Kaijin CGI on the current season?
This is not in perspective. I hope you can see. So sometimes the perspective you have to adjust the perspective here also. I haven't seen CGI on the current season. No, not yet. Okay, where was I? That was Big Hat Walter. Okay, Big Hat Walter. Swampy Man. Swampy Man. Swampy Man. This, I have the same problem here with Marcus.
What program do you use, Daryl?
I use Paint Tool Sci. Your lines here are too thin and descriptive compared to your line art. Your line art is simple and rather cartoonish, if that's the right word, but your lines are trying to make it look realistic. So that's inconsistency in the real. That's what I call inconsistency of realist completion or detail. So it, you also can't see the difference between the wings and whatever's behind. So you want a little bit more simple lines in the dragons. Like maybe like this. Maybe this is what you were going for. I'm gonna stream after this. Yes, but I'm gonna stop the YouTube stream because I need to have the weekly art challenge as a different video. And my favorite paint tool sign. Other one is Sui from Tokyo Ghoul. I didn't know that. So you also have to consider the cylinders even if you're doing this kind of art style. Other than that, there isn't really much I could say. So I hope this helps. This kind of line art that I did for you maybe gives you some hints on what you could do next. Joe, 9 points. Joe. Looks really incomplete. That's all I could say. The other is, all I could say is, it looks like a huge, it looks like a huge blob or something. It doesn't look like a dragon that much. So maybe you want the silhouette to look a little bit more like this, so that you don't have like a, you could tell that it's like a snake-like creature, such as a dragon, compared to this. But this,
are we gonna have same topic next year or half year later?
Can't really. Some people might not even tell if it's a creature or not. I mean, although this is gonna happen because of its incompleteness. And maybe if you'd done the line art a little bit more neatly, it wouldn't have happened. But if you're like, if you had to show your client something within 5 minutes, right? And if you show this, then the client's not going to be happy. And the client might not be happy by showing this either, but at least it's easier to understand what you try to draw. So trying to draw things in small amounts of time there's things you could do to make your what you want to express more clear. Ooh, wait, what was that? What is? Spec. Google perspective drawing. Okay, there's tons of YouTube videos that I'm sure there are YouTube videos that explains it. So make sure to watch those videos and try to duplicate them yourself. The okay, and think in cylinders, think in perspective. That's all I can say for this. Are we gonna have the same topic next year or half year later? Maybe some topics would be the same. Maybe some might be different, or I may change it a little bit. Gurkdoy. Anatomy, cylinder. Anatomy, cylinder. I'm turning into a monster that only says anatomy and cylinder, perspective, cylinder, anatomy. I can't even pronounce it correctly anymore. So
WTH. Someone is talking to Daryl. You Daryl. IT went mute. Well. I think someone is talking to Daryl. Darrow Jr. in troubles. So he went. Draw a long donut or a please.
So sorry about that. Draw a long donut. I'm not gonna do that. So next topic is due in 2 days or so, 2 or 3 days. Next topic is weekly challenge number 10 is a train ride going home. Everything's okay. I just had a family member who had trouble of something. And I didn't want their voice in the stream. If you want to join the Discord server in the description below. Make sure to like and subscribe. See you again in my next review. So bye.